around. They are Christian. No, they're no longer Christian. They no longer follow Jesus. They follow the devil 100%. They no longer follow Jesus. They follow the devil 100%.
Last week, Dr. Michael Ryan, he's a leader at the World Health Organization, announced that in response to the spread of this virus, authorities may have to enter people's homes and remove family members, presumably by force.
In most parts of the world, due to lockdown, most of the transmission that's actually happening in many countries now is happening in the household, at family level. In some senses, transmission has been taken off the streets and pushed back into family units. Now we need to go and look in families to find those people who may be sick and remove them and isolate them in a safe and dignified manner.
Just so you know, we're coming to your house, seizing your children, and, quote, isolating them in a safe and dignified manner. Just so you know, we're coming to your house, seizing your children, and, quote, isolating them in a safe and dignified. Just so you know, we're coming to your house, seizing your children, and, quote, just so you know, we're coming to your house, seizing your children, and quote, seizing your children, and, quote, to your house, seizing your children, and, quote, isolating them in a safe and dignified manner.
Tell Jesus to take the wheel, my faith is nil. I believe that even Jesus has a way to kill.
Guns beneath the dying stars, with all the blood and scars. I'm not behind you with fear. I appear.
Strong persuasion, sometimes entering open houses with guns drawn, and instructions to disarm anyone inside.
You say guns will be taken?
No one will be able to be armed. We will take all weapons. We will take all weapons. We will take all weapons.
I don't know how to use a gun.
You look down the barrel. You line up your sight. And not until you're ready. You put your finger on the trigger and you shoot.
Where'd everybody go?
What the hell is going on?
Oh, God.
Are you okay? Can you tell me your name?
Lucy,
Why are you in Bushwick?
I live here. There's like a whole army out there that's just killing people. Do you know what's going on?
They declared martial law. Not just here, everywhere. I need you to help me.
I can't do this.
5 seconds, okay?
Balloon was recently intercepted by government officials.
Texas is seceded from the United States. We didn't anticipate so much resistance.
They think we won't fight back?
There were supposed to be so many guns.
Welcome to New York, stupid motherfucker.
Some people know better than to stick around in a war zone. Helicopters, tanks. You don't remember the 70s.
The U.S. Army is evacuating people out here. We can get out of here.
Is our neighborhood.
My boys are tough.
We need to stick together, but we need to go now. We're not gonna make it, are we?
Make it one block at a time.
Establishment has a lot of, they will stop at nothing to complete their toolkit of control. Right? So one of the things that has been missing from the toolkit of total control has been quarantines and curfews, right? Mm-hmm. So now, welcome to the new world in America, where to get on a bus, to go through a subway station, if you think that the procedures at the TSA are onerous, right? Guess this is coming to a bus depot near you. It's a more invasive way, and the ruling class needs this because, let me say, if the ruling class ever saw wide-scale civil unrest, you'd see an Ebola outbreak in America right away.
Okay, so this is what you see is that Ebola is
another tool in the toolbox of the ruling class
repression
control. Yeah,
to keep down
absolutely,
repression.
positively, 100%. This is a tool.
Right.
Ebola doesn't just magically start spreading, and then we have these doctors that come back here. The white people, of course, live. The two whites who got it survived. All the black people that get it die. Right? It's very possible that these one of these NGOs over there is going around with a veil of Ebola or spreading it from a small plane onto villages. The point is to get hundreds of thousands of people infected with it and create the next phase of control. Now, one of the things I'd like to show to back up my my claims here. Here's a document from the Rockefeller Foundation. Rockefeller Foundation, right there. You can zoom in on that, where my finger is. It's called Scenarios for the Future International Development, the Rockefeller Foundation. All right? Okay, let's take a look at what they're saying here. This is something like a 50, 60-page document. I'd like you to go to page 18, if you can look at this up on the internet, but I'll read it off to you. It's called lockstep, lockstep. And this is a phrase that I used right after 2001 when I saw the entire system of the United States, including the population, were in lockstep. So the Congress went along, and yes, it was Osama bin Laden, and the people waved their flag and said, I hate, 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 and everything was in lockstep. Well, in 2010, they published this, Rockefeller Foundation, and here's what they're saying. They're saying that they call it a scenario. These are scenario narratives, and they speak about it in the past tense. So they put out this scenario, lockstep. A world of tighter, top-down government control and more authoritarian leadership with limited innovation and growing citizen pushback. Okay, I'll read a little bit of it. In 2012, the pandemic that the world had been anticipating for years, nobody was anticipating a pandemic, finally hit. Unlike 2009's H1N1, this new influenza strain originating from wild geese, they use some scenario, but this is Ebola they're talking about. Even the most pandemic-prepared nations were quickly overwhelmed when the virus streaked around the world, infecting nearly 20% of the global population and killing 8 million in just 7 months, the majority of them healthy young adults. The pandemic also had a deadly effect on economies. You can see the agenda. Just naked, raw, naked control agenda written down, and it's anybody's guess how this becomes effectuated in real life. So whether this is written specifically as marching orders or whether people take it upon themselves in the intelligence networks to say, okay, well, this has been produced, so this is the plan here. But these narratives have to be written in advance because the intelligence agencies don't know how to do these narratives. They need help. So these think tanks, they come up with these like Rand Corporation, Rockefeller Foundation. These are think tanks of death. The think tanks, they're not there to find great ways to help people. Right? Okay, the pandemic also had a deadly effect on economics. International mobility of both people and goods screeched to a halt. Which is what they want. They want a completely isolated world, right? Debilitating industries like tourism and breaking global supply chains. Well, of course they want tourism stopped because they're not in the tourism business. And they want you at home in your house in front of the TV. Then they got you. Because once you watch the TV, they own your soul. Even locally...
Wait a second, we're on television.
I mean commercial television, let's say. National. Even locally, normally bustling shops and offices sat empty for months. Okay, so I love how they talk about it in the past tense in 2010. The pandemic blanketed the planet, though disproportionate numbers in Africa died. Southeast Asia and Central America, where the virus spread like wildfire.
It sounds like the opening monologue of a disaster movie, right?
Exactly. Now listen, here's the good stuff now. But even in developed countries, containment was a challenge. Now here's this one. I love this one. The United States' initial policy of strongly discouraging, in quotation marks, strongly discouraging citizens from flying proved deadly in its leniency. So they're saying, that...
No, keep going.
Okay,
Read it.
Proved deadly in its leniency. So they should have been tougher, right? Accelerating the spread of the virus, not just within the United States, but across borders. However, a few countries did fare better. China, in particular. The Chinese government's quick imposition and enforcement of mandatory quarantine for all citizens, as well as its instant and near hermetic sealing off of all borders, saved millions of lives, stopping the spread of virus far earlier than in other countries. So the message is here is we have to look towards the Chinese, the oppressive totalitarian Chinese regime as an example of what we need to be doing here. And of course, the ruling class here loves the Chinese regime because they have demonstrated to the ruling class the most efficient form of capitalism, which is authoritarian capitalism. So we have capitalism, but unfortunately we have this veil.
I get it.
We have this veil of democracy.
This is very interesting. This is continue on.
Okay. China's government was not the only one that took extreme measures to protect its citizens from risk and exposure. During the pandemic, national leaders around the world flexed their muscles, flexed their authority, and imposed airtight rules and restrictions. You can see the agenda.
Go.
Okay. From the mandatory wearing of face masks to body temperature checks at the entries to communal spaces like
that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, but soon it's going to be like body.
It'll be at the subway.
Yeah,
is that what you're saying? We'll be going through this in the subway, get on buses and the subway, things like that.
And what this means though is don't think about having a cigarette, a joint on you, or I mean, basically you can't. This is a dragnet for everything. So, if in order for you,
in other words, just like with stop and frisk, this is ultimate stop and frisk.
This is the ultimate cavity stop and frisk, cavity search kind of thing. All right. So during the pandemic, national leaders around the world flex their authority. They're now there's some good stuff. Listen to this. And even supermarkets, they want body checks at supermarkets. Okay, so basically, what they're saying is they're building a system where every move you make, you got to go through them.
You can't get food. Well, how about if you go to the farmer's market?
Right. Here's the good stuff now. I mean, it just keeps getting better. Even after the pandemic faded, this more authoritarian control and oversight of citizens and their activities stuck. And even intensified. That's the whole point. So they're going to get rid of...
Didn't that happen already with 9/11?
Of course.
9/11 was how many? 14 years ago, and we still have all these draconian rules.
So they're going to put the body cavity
USA,
searches
Patriot, and all that stuff.
So in order to get to a supermarket, you got to have a body cavity search. And then when there's no more Ebola, well, you know what? We kind of like this way because we have an complete infrastructure of a control grid. In order to protect themselves from the spread of increasingly global problems, from pandemics and national terrorism to environmental crisis and rising poverty, leaders around the world took a firmer grip on power. Well, what the hell would rising poverty have anything to do with imposing strict citizen controls with face masks? Right? So they're very sloppy stuff here. At first, the notion of a more controlled world gained wide acceptance and approval. I'm sorry. Nobody likes this stuff. They're just saying it. I have to provide analysis.
We only have 5 minutes left, so that's.
Oh my God! Okay, citizens willingly gave up some of their sovereignty and their privacy to more paternalistic states in exchange for greater safety and stability. I mean, that's just a complete naked contradiction to the famous saying that if you think you're going to give up a little bit of security, I mean, if you're going to give up your freedom for security, you're going to get neither. That's the long-standing thing. And here what they're doing is they're not even ashamed or embarrassed to absolutely say the exact opposite. They're saying, yes, we all want to give up our privacy and sovereignty for more stability and security and stability. So you don't get that. When you give it up like that, you get the shaft.
Can you show us the cover again of what you were just reading?
One more time, and then I have two more documents.
Right, this is what we were reading here, and just zoom in a little bit so folks can see it. He'll zoom in. Don't worry, you can relax. And scenarios for the future of technology and international development.
Okay. Now I have two more documents. Keep it zoomed. We have the National Security Memorandum of December 10th, 1974. This is Henry Kissinger's brainchild. The National Security Memorandum number 200. You can look that up on your internet. I'll summarize it. He says that there's too many people. We got to get rid of the population. So to answer your question,
from earlier.
Yeah, he says he used the word depopulation, which is different. Depopulation means killing people that already exist, and it's to get the minerals because we need the minerals. And here's another one: the CDC has a patent on Ebola. They patented it. Yeah? Right. So basically, if you want to get a cure for your Ebola, you
it
got to
says
go
it right up here, right? It says human Ebola virus species and compositions and methods thereof, and it's a patent.
It's a patent. They patented the main strain plus something like 17 other strains of it. So they own it now, and I don't know how exactly you can own that, but apparently they've done the same thing.
Yeah, I didn't think you could own a natural.
Yeah, you can. I guess the main thing to finish off this show is this: that they want to get more control, more and it's going to be curfews and quarantine. So what I'm saying is that unless the American people start to get some new way to revolt, a new way to organize, new way to protest, unless we can break through the apathy, because that's what we have here, then it's going to be a slave state here. The ruling class doesn't seem to have too much resistance. They're getting everything on their Christmas shopping list, and they've been wanting quarantines and curfews for a long time. Now they got it. And if you want to live in a world where you're tricked into all this stuff because it's for your safety, right? And if you want to have a probe and make sure you got to check your pockets, make sure you don't have anything incriminating on you before you go out, and when you step out of your house, you want some police there to monitor and see what you're doing. If that's the world you want to live in, be apathetic. Don't do anything. You're going to get that world very soon. It's coming your way, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what should people do? What's the hope? You have 30 seconds.
To wake up, learn about it, and go fight these bastards in Washington. They're easy to beat.
Iggy checking in. Shadow Band Studios, for real. We out here, man. No electricity right now. FBI come knocking at this dude's door because he said he had the corona on social media in my city. Okay, just a couple neighborhoods over. So check this shit out, man. If you don't wake the hell up and think and understand that this shit is getting real more than ever, you want to live in this totalitarian, authoritative government? Let's go, man. Share this out, wake someone up, and stand up. If you don't stand for something, you're going to keep falling for anything like this bullshit on the media. These lies, all right? This is what they want to do with people, okay? They don't care. Dude, when have they ever cared if you got sick and died? What the hell you think they're going to start caring now for? Come on, man. Wake up. Get with the program.
Don't be panicking. I am.
Pittsburgh FBI.
Justin Joseph Jefferson.
Yeah, Pittsburgh FBI.
Justin Joseph Jefferson.
Yeah, why don't you step out of here? First of all, do you have corona?
No, sir.
Okay, why are you posting that online?
Thank you, God. Glory to God. This is the reason what I needed it for. They're not doing nothing wrong. They are doing their job. What I'm appreciating is 7,500 people die every single day in the United States. Okay?
You can phone us after.
I'm not doing nothing disrespectful.
Okay.
What I'm speaking on, I do not have the coronavirus. I believe I may have something.
Can you back up for a second so we ask you some questions?
Sure, sir. Okay. And you can test me right here because I want everybody to see how you get tested. Can you please take me to get tested?
We don't have test kits. We're a law enforcement agency, okay?
Okay, I got a big following. I want everybody to know.
No masks. No masks, yes, guys.
This is no disrespect to the U.S.
I want you to pay attention here. They're coming to check someone for this deadly virus, the FBI, and they don't have any masks on. Do you have the corona, first off? Do you have the corona? This says, okay? And they don't have masks on? They're wearing gloves? Come on, cuz. Wake up.
U.S. government, they're doing their job. They're reporting to everybody that tagged me in like I asked y'all to. They are here. This is real shit going on. Coronavirus is not fake.
Okay. Dude, let me ask you some questions. Did you post stuff that you have online saying that you had corona?
I posted things to bring people to a page to get the truth about what's going on.
Did you post that you had the coronavirus and you were riding mass transportation?
No, I posted I'm living my best life. I'm catching the 83 up to blah, blah, blah. As in,
Did you post that you went to Western Penn?
I told her that I went to West Penn Hospital when I had to get checked, and that wasn't for this coronavirus, but I did use it towards that.
Would you like me to show you the
everything
page?
you're saying is all on that page.
Exactly, and I have copies right
You
there.
should. Everything is documented.
I can show them to you what you posted. So
everything is staying there. I will not delete it, sir. Everything will remain there.
So you understand this is an official investigation. If
Yes,
you lie
sir.
to us
I
from
just
this
want.
point forward,
I want like you. I'm not. This is no lies. You'll see it all
when
on
you're
page.
done talking, I'll finish.
Thank you. I want you guys to please show the world what is going on. I want you to get me tested ASAP. I want people to see what is going on, how you get tested. I want them to understand that, China has a billion population. Only 2,000-3,000 people, maybe 5,000 people died out there. They have millions that die every day out there in China. So it's not that big of a spread. We're worried about something different. We have to worry about the flu.
Now.
The flu.
Do you feel you have the coronavirus?
No, not right this moment, but I do feel I had the coronavirus, sir. I feel like I had it back like 2 months ago. And I was very sick. I was in bed for 6 days. I couldn't eat. And then my son got very sick. And then that's when we took him to the hospital. But they said we had the flu. So I got over it. I drank water, and I did this natural herb thing. You put your face in the steam with a whole bunch of orange pills and peppers, and it worked, and I healed myself. Now I just want to make sure I am officially healed.
Oh, yeah. Remember, guys. Remember I just showed you a video the other day, the dude that made the orange pills with the steam and the little capsules he dropped in the water. You know what? This dude is talking a bunch of bullshit right now because he's scared. You know what I mean? Notably, I understand he's scared. It's the FBI in front of him. He's scared. He's saying anything. This dude wasn't sick. He was just playing around. He should have stuck to the script and done what he was meant to do. He was talking about mind control and how this was all... Man, he should have stuck to his thing and said it how it was. Now he's lying because he's scared. Yeah, I mean, maybe he did have the flu a couple months ago. I think most of what he's saying is full of shit. He's full of shit. But regardless... As you can see, FBI is watching you on social media. Not only that, people told on them.
But like you guys, it take me to get tested for this coronavirus.
And it's so deadly, they don't even have masks on.
Again, we're a law enforcement agency. We do not take people to get tested. Okay? If you feel that you need tested, you pick up the phone and you call 911.
May you at least drop me off to the zoo?
No. We're not a taxi service, and we're not Uber.
Alright, well, for this day forward, because now y'all see this is fucking real, very real, I will not be posting I had this and I tested positive till I go get tested, and I will from now on keep posting my story, and I want y'all to please help support, share my kids. Corona, keeping me stuck inside. When will this go all the way? COVID-19 like Gaston. I'm especially good at self-I.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
It's really my pleasure to be again on stage today to introduce this panel. As I said already in the morning, this is the second track related to topic for operations, and the title is Information Warfare, Defining and Analyzing.
So disinformation and information operations have become publicly famous terms in light of recent events in Europe and the United States. However, these are issues that affect countries all over the world. In some countries, this may be better characterized as psychological operations. The network interventions are actually developed within the public health domain. And so these are the ones I'm going to give you are going to provide examples from health. So the idea is that social influence can help encourage or promote behavior change. And the theory here is essentially that this sort of approach works as well with regards to misinformation. It's important to recognize that this could be, this is an ethically concerning thing to go out there and to try and change hearts and minds. All right, so the first one, that's the most famous and the most common, is working with famous people or main influencers to share information or a particular message. So I include Taylor Swift in here because she's a fairly influential online person. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's actually, this is a cropped image, but she's standing next to a go vote sign. And actually celebrities, at least in the US, regularly will post pictures of themselves with an encouragement to people to go vote, and this has a measurable effect on voter turnout.
Through this.
Celebrities are proudly wearing face masks amid concerns of the coronavirus spreading worldwide. Paranoid, prudent, panicked, placid, pandemic, propaganda? Paltrow's just going to go ahead and sleep with this thing on the plane, the 47-year-old wrote. I've already been in this movie. Stay safe. Don't shake hands. Wash hands frequently, she concluded, referencing her role as Patient Zero in the movie Contagion. Kate Hudson caught some heat after posting this photo online, alongside the caption, Travel, 2020. Selena Gomez took a trip to Chicago earlier this week and shared a photo of herself wearing a mask at the Chicago O'Hare Airport. While the 27-year-old didn't explicitly say why she donned the mask, fans praised her decision to stay safe.
Click right in. So my name's Renee DeResta, and I got my start in social network analysis actually as a, I guess you could call it an activist in 2015, looking at how anti-vaxxers in California were networking online to influence legislation. And I was interested less in an academic understanding of the problem than in an understanding of how they were coordinating, who they were communicating with, where their high centrality nodes were, and why that little purple section out there, which is not very interconnected nor very influential, that is the public health community. So trying to get a better understanding of where we were falling down, how this infrastructure had put itself together. Green are anti-vaxxers, blue is the autism community, red is at the time the American Tea Party, and the emergent yellow cluster was we're watching their messages evolve in real time as they were losing votes in the California Senate. So we were really interested in very specifically how this was happening. And I want to start by saying that one of the significant gaps in social network analysis with Russia was that the anti-vaxxers were very overt. ISIS was extremely overt. The iconography was out there. They made no secret of who they were. So looking at network analysis with a clearly detectable adversary that wants to be found is fundamentally different than looking at an adversary that is doing it extremely subversively and does not want to be found. And so this is how recently we've come to think about disinformation campaigns specifically in the context of staged operations. And then within the series of stages, we think about what are the interventions at each moment, at each of those stages. So somewhat similarly to what's called the kill chain methodology in cybersecurity, where there's sort of a set series of phases that an attacker goes through to get to command and control, we think about when you're building and amassing an audience that you are going to then propagandize to, what are the steps that you take, recognizing that the rules are ultimately set by the feature set of the social platforms.
Oh, we can only accept cash at this time. What? Shit. Okay, I got a plan, okay? Let's just start looting shit, okay? Let's just grab Let's just grab whatever we can.
No, you can't loot until the crowd whips up into a frenzy.
The crowd is whipped up into a frenzy, they just stole my car!
I think the time will be...
So what are we waiting for?
Just seconds ago, a car crashed through the building and the crowd is scattering. Despite the fact that the storm has been downgraded, the people have worked themselves into an uncontrollable frenzy.
Seemingly completely healthy little girl playing freeze tag in the front yard. Mom wakes her up the next morning. She is paralyzed from the neck down. This after just getting the flu shot.
Who should think about getting a flu shot?
Well, babies don't think about it. But everyone from 6 months of age and older should get a influenza shot. Everybody.
But everyone from 6 months of age and older should get a influenza shot. Everybody.
Folks, we gotta get good people to stand up against these people.
Sir, it's Agent Hubbard, FBI. What I propose is that you let these people go, and I'll take their place. I'm going to take your silence to mean that you're considering my offer.
Oh, God.
London, Belfast, Beirut. We're not the first city to have to deal with terrorism. This is New York City. We can take it.
You don't understand. These guys are pros. From the age of 12, they've been dodging people like you.
The situation is appalling. They're attacking our way of life. The president wants it stopped, and there's only one way to do that.
He's saying the president is prepared to take the necessary steps.
Today, with the invocation
of the War Powers Act by the President, I am declaring a state of martial law in this city. We intend to seal off this borough, and we intend to squeeze it.
Do you have any idea what you're starting here?
It's wrong. What if what they really want is for us to herd children in the stadiums like we're doing? And put soldiers on the street and have Americans looking over their shoulders? Bend the law, shred the Constitution just a little bit. We do that, and everything that we have bled and fought and died for is over.
Don't you ever again question my command, is that clear?
I'm not under your command, General.
Take a look around, tell me if you really think that's true. I think that's true. I think that's true. I think that's true. I think that's true.
Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than